Hello everyone again. This is update number 2 on the e-car project. I just wanted to let you know we got our parts. Started building the other day and wanted to show you what I've come up with so far for just this front suspension. We're still working on getting the motor driver and all of the sensors to work electronically, but on the other front we're doing the actual build and want you guys to see what we're doing here. So what we have here is a fully working double wishbone suspension. So what we've done here is, actually you can see how I started on this side. You can see that I molded some epoxy putty into, like I did the top at a lower angle, that way keep the wishbone arms a little bit closer together given the height of the knuckles. But I molded the mounts here, and then what I did was I drilled holes through. You can see this direction, through holes all the way through. Some of them had to go at an angle because of the, where I could actually go put a drill, but it really doesn't matter because of the ball joints will fix any angle problems with the mounting holes. But as you can see, as you look over here, I went ahead and cut away at those mounts and was able to put in, let's see if I can get this apart here. These are these are 2mm screws, so that's quite small hardware that we're playing with here. But we'll be able to show you exactly what's going on at the end of these A-arms. So you can see here that we have two tiny little ball joints at the end there. Those are epoxy puttied in. I'm going to shave down this epoxy a little better and maybe even relay a little bit for better grip. I just wanted these things to be extremely strong. And then here, this is another fiberglass rod. You can see it's not a piece of tubing, it's just rod. But that's actually the suspension pivot. I'll show you that in a quick moment. But then you see on the inside here, we have these Heim joints that are attached to the knuckles. I have a couple nylon spacers in there for length, so we can get these A-arms a little bit farther apart. And you can see here we've got our little drive shafts. Those are going to go in and go to the motors. And these little knuckles with ball joint steering component. This actually, the steering component is going to be in the front of the wheel. For this, as you're seeing right now, the steering component will be behind the motors, but actually in reality it's going to be in the front and go across to the other wheel. So let's put this back together and let me show you how the suspension or the natural shocks mount up. So these guys slide into here. Tiny little screws. Boy, oh boy. So as you can see, once we hook that up, everything seems to be pretty clean. So here's the suspension shock we're using. It's a coilover. You can actually adjust the ride height by spinning this little mount here, but we're going to use them at the very softest settings because we're not running a whole lot of weight. So we run them all the way at the bottom, and then this little guy slips over there, and then we'll be building a suspension mount on the body, something similar to these mounts, but just a mount for the top of the shock. But as you can see, once if I hold it in place, pretty neat little working suspension that we've got here. So I'm gonna put a little cotter pin, drill a hole, put a cotter pin through there, just keep that shock on with a small washer, and build another suspension mount up here and replicate it on the other side, and we should have a neat little I have a little double wish suspension. As you can see, at full down position, the wheel has a pretty decent amount of camber. The ride height is about maybe an inch or so, which is pretty good. We may be riding a little lower, but you can see also that the wheel pretty much stays parallel with the chassis as the suspension articulates here. So, and then from the inside, the motors will be mounted. We're actually going to be doing the transverse mount motor. We're not going to be using the 90-degree gear drives because of where the yoke ended up. It's pretty far outside of the outside the body, so we're actually going to run the motors this direction with the shaft going directly into the yoke here. That's pretty much it, what we've got. I'm going to go ahead and replicate the other side this week, and we should be having the platform all put together and maybe the motors mounted this week too. So keep checking it out, and hopefully we'll get this stuff done by December 14th, which is the due date. So thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. See you guys later.